Good. Hello, Merlin. How you doing today?
Uh, it's sunny. I'm fine, I guess. Not great. Good. How are you?
Good. Sweet. So we are meeting today to get you onboarded as a co-steward of Coherence 2025.
Yes,
How are you feeling about that?
pretty good. From the glimpses into the project that I had, it's very down my alley. Um, I would love to understand more about it, or get into the flow. I had a few, like 2 weeks of where I kind of planned to already like go ahead, where I was taken out a bit. But yeah, it very highly fits my sense of direction. Let's put it like this.
Mhm, mhm. You said you would like to get to know more about it,
Yes,
about
just get acquainted. I'm noticing like there are already a lot of like Telegram chats channels open. I have snooped into it a little bit, but it's always like it's a little bit hard to catch up on the basis of distributed chats. Um, so yeah, that's kind of
okay.
catching up.
I hear you. And at the same time, I would like to get to know more about coherence from you.
Hmm. In what sense?
In the sense that this is a decentralized uh,
Yes.
conference and there is no single source of truth as far as I understand
Hmm.
it.
Hmm.
So I guess what is it making alive in you? And when you say that this is very resonant, I would like to
Yeah,
get to your understanding of this project. And I would like you to pitch coherence to me.
I see. I'm not sure I can make it a pitch right away, but I'll just speak from what I understand, what I
Sure.
cherish. Um, so there are two trends that are quite obviously very much overlapping here, maybe more, like surely more, but two big ones that come to mind immediately. Is regeneration. Um, the framework, I feel like that kind of serves as the philosophical boundary in some sense, and then just technology, and
Mhm,
specifically the technology of decentralization. I've noticed aspirations to integrate AI, which of course is just a world-sweeping trend already, and will probably be even more so in the years to come. And this clearly needs to be leveraged kind of on the right side. Needs to support humans, organic humans, not just be like an isolated phenomenon in the world. And yeah, technology to be leveraged in the spirit of regeneration and for the purpose of let's say forwarding or furthering human collaboration.
mhm.
Just yeah, hits many key topics for me.
Very lovely. And on that note, wait, I forgot the script. Da 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 da. Mm, please wait a second. Let's play music on the no waiting music. Where was this? Okay, of course. I would like you to tell me what kind of organizations you are part of
Mhm,
and mm, how do they connect to Coherence 2025?
mhm. Mm, so it's not exactly an organization that I represent right now. It's more like the publication that I've given a name that I've published three articles, I think, under right now. Not a lot. Many drafts in the works. Um, it's called SenseWaking. And it is broadly concerned with all of the topics that I've already kind of mentioned. That's why there's a fit. SenseWaking specifically focused on so far on the element, I would say, the added element apart from these topics on the critical thinking axis. Um, I'm noticing many less than nuanced takes floating around online, and I'm kind of drawn to nuance. Doesn't always isn't always rewarded with like algorithmic or whatever. But yeah, it's important.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and the other part was essentially like I put it this way. I recently started reading a book. It's a long book, it's a dense book. I'm halfway in, not quite. The Master and His Emissary by Ian
Okay.
McGilchrist on the hemisphere kind of relationship. And he has the assessment, as far as I understand, and I share it, that the world that we see is very left hemispheric in a
Mhm.
way. The dominant culture is very left hemispheric, and I guess sense waking, the name in a way is coming from the right hemispheric world that I've experienced. In a way more, I don't know, more holistic. Holistic probably is the right word. Kind of way of looking at things, of perceiving things. And so yeah, that's a trend that I also see in Coherence 2025. The the striving for better holistic solutions, you know.
Right
So yeah.
hemisphere, I mean the brain hemisphere, is that correct?
Yes, that's right. Yeah, I mean the hemispheres let me put it as an anecdote. There was research on have a second. There was a specific set of symptoms, and people had just one hemisphere ready, right? And they also had their corpus callosum, the part of the brain that connects both hemispheres that synchronizes them. So their hemispheres were genuinely disconnected. They didn't communicate. Also, therefore, what you showed to the right eye, to the left eye, was only processed by the right hemisphere and vice versa. Um, this is how researchers found out that the strategy of just biologically the left hemisphere is essentially fake it till you make it.
Mm-hmm.
Make bold, sweeping, confident statements when you're called out on some kind of mistake or some kind
Okay.
of error. It just had the program of barge ahead, harsher claims, more like, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and and I feel it connects in this way. There is a need. I see the signature of like the right hemispheric integration all over the regenerative movement and the
Mm-hmm.
people that I resonate with, the people that show up in my feed, people who are concerned with the meta crisis, with the right kind of solutions. I feel it's all in a way. There's always some right hemispheric signature there. Um,
Mm-hmm.
if it's just holism, then it's holism. But I see more than that. That's about it. So this kind of the integration of this kind of worldview, essentially.
I'm super curious, how do you see this in practical terms?
Mhm.
Like, you know already more or less what is about to happen. And do you see some, I don't know, like processes and or tactics that we can apply to this asynchronous distributed conference so that it emerges as a more holistic one? Or you're just going
I
to be
think I think it,
just or just like simply the guardian of like this holism?
I see the signature of this kind of already all over it. Like it's not like
Hmm.
you can you can make up your mind to use your right hemisphere. I feel like it's more of an ontological shift in a way. A change in how we perceive. Like it ripples out from a different understanding into different perception, and it's a deeper kind of shift. And I actually felt like I regressed recently in this shift. Like going back to Germany put me into certain modes of operating that were less holistic, that were less, I don't know, less spirited in a way, um, than I have been before. And I don't know how you would like how you would applied in an instrumental way, like what you've been asking for. Um, how to use this framework to there's less of a how-to there. It's just something that I really appreciate, noticing that it's a perspective, a worldview, a way of perceiving things, a neural wiring that is already present there. Um, but I'll think on this. Maybe there's something there that I'm not seeing right now. How to like actually actively leverage it.
I appreciate this. I appreciate this, and I'm very happy to know that. Yeah, looks like you'll be the guardian and the investigator of holistic brain approach of the coherent.
Right. Let's see. Um, I, I probably won't be so consciously. I can only act from what I am and what I yeah. I'll just go ahead with the best possible judgment and see what I can contribute.
Absolutely, we all do our best. Okay, good. Then next question. Hmm. Very connected to this one.
Mhm.
What questions and what needs is sense walking bringing to coherence?
Again, sorry,
What questions
questions.
and what needs
Hmm.
is your project, your organization, SenseWaking, bringing to the coherence?
Not so many needs.
Mhm.
I don't see many needs. It was just a project that I felt drawn to contribute to, hopefully grow in. Like one thing that I mean, it's not a need. It's just something that I feel like is inevitable in a way. Um, I certainly was like considering that I'm committed to the, let's say, paradigm shift uh, prospect ahead of us and um, regeneration at large and like a paradigm shift that many in this group probably see brewing. Um, but since I don't have there was a fucked up sentence, but so I'm drawn to these topics, but I don't yet have the ability to just enact it on the land a lot. It was a little bit easier when I was in Nicaragua on the tropical islands. Less easy here. So I long to travel again to maybe visit some eco villages. Mm, so since I'm with limited capacity to walk on the land, um, I I wanted to see how I can leverage how I spend my days right now. How I can leverage it
Mhm.
better. So through the
Mhm.
screen. And therefore there's a huge itch to figure out how to best use AI for this kind of purpose.
Mhm.
Um, and technology in general.
Mhm. Mhm.
Because there's a huge like I'm not by default a fan of AI. I think we need to grow alongside it
Mhm.
in order for it to make sense. Um, but it's kind of my world. I've been on the screen a lot in my life, and since this is kind of my operating system, I feel drawn to make sense of specifically this kind of connection technology and like the the biosphere regeneration kind of trend that we're all depending on. Um, so that's the big one. That's the intersection that I was looking for or that I am kind of constantly looking for. In which way
Mhm.
can these trends merge? This huge, seemingly unstoppable trend of technology and AI, and then just the foundational work of preserving what we need for living and preserving the beauty on this planet. And they have to, in my mind, as money is also the next
Mhm.
thing. They have to align, and I feel like we don't yet have this realization integrated into the logic of our economics. So yeah, any project that kind of seeks to integrate those 2.5 year way or those three has my vote.
You know what came to me?
Mhm.
You are seeking for bridges between the world of regeneration and the world
Mhm.
of technology,
Mhm.
while you also said that you are seeking for how to look holistically at our brain and the left and right hemisphere. Do you see the analogy, like the left hemisphere would be more for the technology and right, and the right
Yes.
hemisphere is more like this creative and like yeah, you see it like that? So,
Yes, that's one. Like it's not a hard distinction. It's in there.
mm,
The interesting thing about the right hemisphere is it is the agent of holism in a way. So
mm,
the right hemisphere in a way seems to be able to integrate all of what the left hemisphere does. It
mm-hmm,
is for example, if you have a left hemisphere stroke and only your right hemisphere is active, you kind of still are able to perceive the whole. It perceives
mm-hmm,
left and right. It kind of unites. Um, if you have a right hemisphere, oh sorry, did I mess it up? If you have a left hemisphere stroke and the only right hemisphere is active, yes. And if you have a left hemisphere stroke, a right hemisphere stroke and your left hemisphere is active as the only agent, um, your perceptions actually like distorted in the way that you sometimes only perceive um, the right side of your body. The left side is almost like a negation, like a I'm not sure how that's called in English. Um, a Leugnung, it is in German. Um,
mm-hmm.
yeah, so there's a very, very roundabout way of saying yes, and the right hemisphere kind of operating system or paradigm is exactly the integration of both as well. It's more drawn to the organic, that's for sure, but also the integration of the organic into the inorganic or artificial or technological. That's also right hemisphere business. But yeah, fundamentally,
Fascinating.
yes.
Fascinating. And I cannot wait to read further. I've read some of your write-ups, and
Mhm.
I'm super curious what will you write after the coherence, most especially on this topic.
Mhm. Yes.
Cool. So I have another question for you. What kind of projects would you like to invite to Coherence 2025?
There's probably a handful, one that I've already reached out to, and one friend and business builder that I would love to interview very soon. She has founded an agency, Jumpsuit, and in terms of in terms of future-proof, holistic kind of business building, in terms of business as an extension of bright stuff and not just money-making incentives, um, she is she's an absolute role model. And yeah, that's one. And I would love to interview her.
Wait,
Like she's built a software. Mhm.
who is this? Or maybe you can
And
disclose what project.
oh, Nicole Iris is her name.
Okay.
The agency is Jumpsuit, and the software she's built is John Boards.
All right.
And she recently, and I'm not sure how much intel I can get on the software itself because she
Mhm.
recently made an exit. She sold the software
Hmm.
to a strategic buyer. She has retained like special access rights
Mhm.
in a way. So I'm not sure how much we will talk about the software itself. And as far as I've understood, that's often the frame of these interviews, to really dig down into the collaborative software kind of angle. Um,
Yes, and we have now a special type of interview, which is like a general interview.
so that
There you
might be
go.
more like it because she's just onto these topics like
Mhm.
a few other people I know. Um, And yeah, that's the one that certainly called me, and a few others came to mind. I have a list actually of topics to look into, and there
Great.
will probably be some added. But that's the one that I can name right now that I I'll definitely, especially if the frame has shifted towards also more general interview, then it's definitely a project that I interview.
It's not that it shifted, but
Sure.
basically
Yeah.
I have interviewed Bart, and Bart doesn't have any tech project, and
Yeah.
we were just chatting about his role as an ecosystem weaver, and then after watching the interview, I guess maybe um, way to go about these interviews, that it doesn't have to be necessarily digging into
Yeah.
organization matters, but something like that. I guess we are, it's emerging as we are doing it, and I think it is the most beautiful thing of all.
Yes.
Good, very lovely. Maybe you want to, if you want to, maybe you don't want to, but maybe you can, without digging into details, like give me a name of like few more organizations that you would like to invite, just to have their names.
1 second. Let me see.
You have your list there.
Yes. Um, 1 second. I apparently misplaced it a little.
No worries. We can cut those parts where I'm searching for the question.
I
You are
see. Yes.
searching. But I guess we won't. Who has time for it?
I thought I left the. A second.
Music for waiting.
Yes, please. Elevator music. Let's go. Oh,
Wait,
right.
I have some drums
Yeah.
here. Let me play.
Here.
Just like, 2 or 3. I'm not
Yes.
asking about the full list.
Yes.
Just curious.
So one that I was curious about was the DAO to DAO, D2D
Uh-huh. Okay.
networks. Essentially, like the as far as I understand it, the meta interoperability kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing. If you build many DAOs, of course, it would be only sweet if there was an infrastructure for them to also communicate across each other. Then one that I've heard a lot of, and that also I don't know in which direction they've been building, was Holochain.
Uh-huh.
That's a name on my radar. And one that I think I had already encountered when I looked into crypto back then, was but I'm not sure. Might have been a different one. The Matrix protocol. Mm, that is, I was
I've
thinking,
heard
so
of it,
this
yeah.
is, the description is, instead of a single platform, Matrix allows federated decentralized communities to interconnect while retaining their own autonomy. So
Yeah, yeah,
also
yeah.
seemingly like meta interoperability.
Mm-hmm.
If that's the right word
Cool.
for it, by the way, I'm not sure. Um, so yeah, that's a handful.
Mm-hmm.
And
Perfect.
I have to look into my bookmarks to dig. Like I have a whole kind of uh I know where to look, let's say, to find more projects, and I don't yet know how to pick because I think
Mm-hmm.
there are probably a whole handful out there.
Yeah.
And there has to be some selection.
Okay. How to pick? This is a good question for one of the calls that we are going to have.
Mhm.
You're coming tomorrow for the open house call. Okay.
If I'm coming, yes. I
I
have a
would
second.
like to
Let me
finish
let me connect to mobile data
this
for a second.
interview with the last question from the script.
I see. Yes. Let me connect to mobile data for a second
Sure.
because we're having connection issues.
Yeah, I hear you.
All right. Are we back? Yeah.
Yes.
Sweet.
So I would like to ask the last question from the script, and then I have a bonus question that is not on the script.
Yes.
So the last one is, do you have any questions for me?
Mm, not from the top of my head.
Right.
There's of course the question of yeah, this I think that the table we talked about earlier today, getting an overview who's already in contact with whom, and yeah, just spotting where there's a like someone left to be contacted, left to be engaged with, and left to be interviewed. But it's more of a technical question. Apart from this, not immediately, not right now. No.
Good, no problem. That's great. We have more time for the bonus question.
Yes.
So tomorrow I want to work on the roadmap for the coherence,
Mhm.
and we have more or less 3 months, let's say, before the summer holidays, before everybody gets too lazy to work. And I wanted to ask you if you have envisioned what things have to happen uh, on the way for us to become successful in a way that you envision success, of course. So it's like, do you have any hints for me on how to design this roadmap? Because I'm preparing for the call tomorrow.
Roadmap specifically. So I don't know. I feel I feel a little self-conscious being asked about this topic because again, like I haven't yet contributed as much as I would have loved to. Haven't
Mm-hmm.
yet had an interview. Um, in terms of making something like this successful, from what I've understood, there are interviews, they're uploaded um, to YouTube, and optimally, there's since there's multiple co-stewards and many projects to be interviewed, the first thing that comes to mind is just let's call it escape velocity, like enough momentum, enough of a publication rhythm and frequency to be noticed by the algorithm. So that's algorithm based. Um, I'm wondering about the uh, how do you say about the reach essentially or the advertisements essentially marketing apart from algorithm. Mm, quality control comes to mind. For example, just what we had right now, like um, this little hiccup in connection speed, which surprisingly often happens in Germany for some reason. I feel like I sometimes had better internet in Nicaragua for whatever reason. Probably when these networks have been built, they were already newer. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and what I was, so I thought about podcasting. Um, and I'll probably just start soon. I have a lot of people to interview, and while I'm not super touchy about video, I think video is not as important as sound, and I
Mm-hmm.
wonder what our sound setup across all different players are. And for example, the microphone that I'm using right now, I don't know. I don't know what this is. This is not something special, and I think you hear it. I can only assume it's not the clearest sound. So what I have it's like this kind of microphone. I have to test what needs to be done in terms of echo of the walls,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
that's something for me that I would personally be very careful to optimize. Sound is if the sound is off or the connection is shitty, and you like forget video. People most often, I guess, just plug in. But if then the sound suffers and you're annoyed or something, it's just messy that can really, on a very deep subconscious level, disturb um, the success of such a project. So that's probably what I would wonder most about in terms of quality control, in terms of um, delivering the same kind of quality across many interviews with many players.
Good.
It's a
I will
tricky
add
issue.
that. No, I know. I will add it to the puzzles that we will try to build a picture tomorrow.
Yes.
A very good one, definitely. And you mentioned advertisement. You think
Uh,
we should
Marketing, advertisement, communications, in what way? Like, what is the reach mechanism?
mhm. Good. Perfect. All right.
Wasn't there like a thing that co-stewards are called to um, share new interviews through their social channels? That's part of the,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yes.
right? Yes.
Yeah, it is. Ideally all,
Yeah.
but of course, there will be a lot of it. So suddenly for 3 months, your feed will suddenly become only about
Yeah. Yeah.
interviews. So uh, maybe
I mean,
some will go for it, but I
the,
don't think everybody will do it.
yeah. Yeah, the trouble that I personally would have the most is not having the time to listen through all of these interviews, but
Oh,
then
yes.
posting them in my name and saying, "Hey, that's my biggest issue, probably."
Wow. Wow.
Let's
Nice
see.
one.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, I guess, at least I personally would strive to at least get acquainted with every project, listen into the call a little bit to speak some truth about it, and not just make something up or have a blind recommendation. Because I don't know if there's just a blind recommendation, and there's a lot of it, and it just floods. I'm not sure that's a bonus to the project,
It
you
will
know?
feel spammy.
Yeah, yeah, it really
I
shouldn't.
hear you. Of course. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You said what is the reach mechanism, but
Mm,
it also made me wonder what is the mechanism for cutting the most relevant excerpts, like, 3 minutes,
yeah,
90 seconds for Insta Reel. Do we have it actually? Like, do we have a process for that? I think this would be relevant to actually
yeah,
have snippets. I think they are called snippets, right?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know there's software for this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how good it is.
Mm-hmm.
I would assume it's kind of okay. Like, already the native snippet generation software from Substack
Mm-hmm.
is
Yeah.
okay, let's say. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't feel it's just great. I had a few chats with collaborative calls with someone, live chats, with a guy that I reached out to, and there was like an automatic snippet generation, I hadn't felt like it really captured the high points in our conversation,
Mm-hmm.
but it was useful.
I mean,
And I assume there's better software out there.
yeah, these are the questions that I want to put onto the agenda for our future
Yes,
future calls. We don't have to find answers immediately. So I'm very grateful to have found those questions.
yes,
And in this way, we have arrived at the end of our onboarding call.
sweet. Thank you. Interesting
Thank you very,
questions.
very much. Thank you. Yeah, it's been a script, so not to me. The thanks.
So yeah,
But
you would have to tell me where the script is if I'm meant to also onboard people, and then to do that well.
you will find everything in the link tree, so
Yes,
everything should be there.
sweet. I don't think I have access to the link tree yet, or I
I
haven't
mean,
found it yet.
link tree is in the dashboard, and dashboard is pinned in
Also,
the
I could
main
have
channel.
I
So
could have figured. Yes. All right, I'll,
yeah,
I'll take a look.
all right.
All right. Yeah, we also have less than a minute in this meeting, so we'll probably be thrown out in a second. Before we do, um, thank you for taking the time so late, and
Thank you.
I guess we'll
Absolutely.
see each other tomorrow
We see
when
each other
we
tomorrow.
the call.
Exactly.
Sweet. See you then.
Have a lovely evening.
You too. Bye bye.